Okay, so it happened. Probably something that I never thought would happen. So let me share with you what I did to unclog my garbage disposal, at least the sink that's on the side of the garbage disposal. This is a very messy job, so I'm going to help you guys as far as letting you know what you're up against if this should happen to you. Or if you were like me, maybe you were in the moment and needed as much help as you could right then and there. And it wouldn't have paid to call the warranty company because the problem was immediate. Usually when it's a problem with plumbing, it's rather immediate, and calling them out to come and just finish the repairs up doesn't make any sense once you've stopped the problem, unless it's something that's beneath the surface, so to speak, that you cannot get access to. But in this instance, it was my garbage disposal. Definitely suggest that you have towels nearby, a bucket of some sort to capture water that will come out of the drain pipes. I like the way that these pipes are attached because it made for an easy and a not so challenging experience. Make sure to unplug your garbage disposal because you are working around water and electricity. The best thing to do is just to go ahead and unplug it and wait until you are ready to turn it back on before plugging it. Also, my disposal required a flathead screwdriver, so you might want to grab one or look at the bolts on yours and see what it requires. But I'll let you guys know what happened. While peeling some potatoes, instead of placing the peelings inside of a bag and throwing them in the garbage can, someone, I'm not going to name any names, put the peelings in the garbage disposal. And that, my friend, is not the best place for them, because what happens is the little blade, even though the blade is kind of like it's hard to describe, but what happens is the peelings kind of like suffocates or really blankets the blade in such a way where it can't catch and it can't grind it up and pass it through the drain. And so what we ended up with was this mess that I had to attack because, like I said, calling the warranty company out wouldn't have mattered because it's in the moment, it's right then and there, and you need this appliance to work because it's in the kitchen where everything goes on. So what I ended up doing was removing this pipe, and beneath the this area I do have a bucket with towels nearby, and I'm sorry about the lighting, but I needed to capture as much as I could in order to share with you guys what had to happen for me to get my disposal unclogged. Now when you're going to do this, because there's water trapped there, it's going to go all over the place, so you better be ready. And that's with even removing the water out of the sink, so that there wouldn't be that much. So yes, there was a surprise there because that disposal was filled with water. And like I said, that's with even removing the water out of the sink. So once this happened, and now you see why you want to have a bucket nearby, or a couple of buckets and towels. And yes, I did. So I didn't have that much of a cleanup to do, but nevertheless, I did take the time to clean all of this up, and it's such a gross job once it's like this. Now, what I use to clean my sink out is, what do you call it, lemon. I take lemons once they've been squeezed. I place them in a Ziploc bag and I freeze them. And when I need one or two or what have you, I'll make sure to have a couple of them out, like to where they will defrost, I guess, slightly. And then I will just put it in my garbage disposal. And this is the sink. This is what we're looking at now. But it didn't have a smell, thank God. As a matter of fact, it smelled like lemon. And I knew that was from us using the lemon pucks. I call them lemon pucks because my dad has a lemon tree, and I want to say anywhere from 100 to 200 lemons a year is what I'll get off of the tree easily. And so once I've squeezed the lemons, I would keep the little, it makes like a puck. It's what I call it, because once you squeeze it, it looks like a puck. And so I just package them in Ziploc bags. Well, you could smell the lemon. You could smell the lemon because we would use it often. Okay, so back to this thing here. So first time for me trying to figure this thing out, because I'd never had to do anything that related to plumbing before. And when I saw all the water coming out, at least I was glad about that part, because now it was just a matter of finding out where in the line was there a clog. And so I just began to like undo each section. And once again, I'll have to let you know again that I am a beginner, so I don't know what not to remove or what to remove. So the video, in a sense, was to help me in the event that I needed to replace something and forgot. At least I could always go back to the video, play it, and look at it and determine what would have to happen. But in this instance, when I removed that first pipe, I didn't see anything per se. And then I just kept working through it, and eventually I was able to find where the system was compromised, and I removed the clog, and then from there it was just a matter of replacing all of the parts. Now let me tell you about a solution that I read about, and I really wish I would have written down the website name, but I don't remember, and I didn't write it down. But I did remember reading a website that explained to use very, very hot water and with a mixture of baking soda. Pour the baking soda first in the drain, like in the sink, and follow it with very, very hot water. My concern was that my manual for my garbage disposal says not to use very hot water, and so that was my biggest concern. Like, I didn't want to destroy or have to replace the entire appliance. So I did use the baking soda mixture followed by apple cider vinegar, and that helped to eat through a lot of those peelings, because in the end what I did find was I found that the peelings were like really, really small, like they were shredded, and I didn't have that much of it. So whatever that mixture does, it was potent enough to work through those peelings and get the drain working again, because those are the only two mixtures. Now once I determined that the water would go through fine and it came out clean, I attached everything again, and then I plugged the garbage disposal back. But when I turned it on, it reclogged. So I had to do that process like a few different times before I actually got to where I could actually say that it was completely unclogged. So, and also, you also want to have that key that comes with your garbage disposal. It kind of looks like a I don't know, like a small crowbar, I guess. I'm not sure, but I did use this particular key, and I'm sorry that I don't show it to you, but what it does is it allows you to be able to manually turn the motor or whatever it is that's underneath or at the bottom in order to help propel the food, to help it to grind through the final processes, I guess. But you will need that particular key, because you're removing the power from your garbage disposal. So you'll need that key in order to manually turn or manually grind up the food particles that's still within the appliance itself. So doing this allowed me to see that I was capable of doing something that I once feared and once did not have any understanding about how it works. But I hope the video is definitely beneficial to someone out there. Another thing, when you're working through the whole processes, is just to constantly turn on, like you see right here, it's still clogging up. And so I would have to redo the process, like I said, a couple of times or so more, just to help propel that food through the appliance. But eventually it did get unclogged up because I just kept repeating the process. Another thing is you want to constantly check your connections after you've located the clogged area, because you want to check for any leaks. You definitely don't want to leave this area without double checking, triple checking, because if there's a water leak, you could create more damages than the messed up appliance would have, because water damages go into your woodwork. You may have to get new cabinets, you may have to cut things out, tear things apart, and that, my friends, we don't want to do at all. So, but back to the drainage issue, I was able to get it resolved. The fears that I had about attacking this issue, they weren't any longer, because I challenged myself to do something that, number one, I wasn't familiar with. Number two, I got the information. I researched through YouTube videos. I read some articles, and then I had my manual present also to know what not to do in order to not compromise my appliance. So in the end, I do hope the video is beneficial to someone. There's a few tools that you need, but I promise you, you can do this. Check the appliance. Number one, check to make sure that the appliance is turned off at the switch. Like, there's a switch that connects the appliance to the electrical. So make sure that's turned in the off position. Unplug the appliance. Have your manual tool to help turn the appliance manually in order to grind up some of the food particles that may be still in the appliance itself. Also have towels, have buckets. Just prepare and cover the area, especially the flooring, the cabinet flooring, just so that you don't create a huge mess. And it'll make your experience a little less stressful. Now, I wasn't satisfied just knowing that I had completed the job. I wanted to make sure that I would capture this and share it with you guys. And so I felt really good having my camera set up to where I could walk through this thing and be able to share this information with you all. So I hope it's fitting. I hope the video is beneficial. I'm sorry for the footage right here. It's because I'm not familiar with how to rotate or put the footage in the right side up position. But as you can see, it's dirty right now, but guess what? The clog is gone. It's no longer clogged, and that, my friend, is the best feeling ever. So whenever you run water in the sink and it stays down, it doesn't pool, then you know that your job is done. And I was so happy to see that I could literally wash my sink out, get these little fine particles, the remnants like this, out of the sink, and get back to business as usual. Hey, this is Sonia saying thanks so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I hope you have a wonderful day.